everyone, welcome to the Criterion podcast. My name is Michelangelo Marenko, and today I'm interviewing Ketsia Duval. Ketsia is one of the Salsu President candidates this year, and she's interested in applying for that. So Ketsia, can you please tell me why did you want to become Salsu President?
Yes, hello. After sitting down with myself, realizing that my job is going to come to an end, as Executive Vice President this year, and I thought I really didn't want to walk away because I really, really enjoyed my job and I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to take it a step further, and that next step to me was applying for president. And then I also realized that change on this campus is really simple, and one of the people who have the power to do that is the president, and impacting our student experience here at La Sierra University. And since I have a passion for people, I wanted to take my skill and go and do that. So that's why I decided to run for president.
That's really nice. So if you were elected president, what would you do to help change the university or student life in general?
Well, one of the main things that I would really, 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 really like to do is change the perception of acceptance on this campus. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's a lot of students I've been talking to that keeps telling me, oh, they don't like going here, they don't like the experience, they feel like the message of like, oh yes, we welcome everyone is not applied to them, and I feel like that's not fair. All of us are paying more than 40 grand to go here, so then like every single one of us deserve a chance to enjoy it. Whether if it's, increasing events or actually turning this campus to not just a place where Christians go and are accepted, but where places like everyone can go, or, everyone who is here at La Sierra University is accepted for whoever they are, and so on and so forth. I don't know if I explained.
So when you mean by like they just don't feel accepted, they feel like they don't fit into certain social groups?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the greatest examples I've given is that when you go to chapel, right? If you sit at the first 2 rows in chapel, you will have a total different experience if you sit all the way in the back. But our school, so the people that sit at the front 2 seats are the people who are leaders on campus, and they're saying like, this is great, but the rest is, the general population at La Sierra University. But I want to expand that experience to make it fit. I don't know. Am I making any sense?
No, I get what you mean. So you're trying to build more of a community of students, because that's essentially what La Sierra is. Mm-hmm. It's a community. And you're trying to, like, would you have, for example, like, more social events? Like, how would you cater to those students who feel not accepted, like the ones you spoke with?
Well, social events, yes, but more in the scale of making this campus more alive. One of the ideas that I've had was this project called Project Revive, connecting with the clubs and making them participate in like competitions together to make them host like the best event here at La Sierra University. So by doing that, a lot of students would feel, okay, I can go to these events and I can attend them, but not just like everything I'm saying, I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
I don't know how to explain.
So it's like you're trying to. I see what you mean. So like how last year's departments are kind of separated, and you're trying to combine that together. Yes. Like how like clubs are kind of they just do their own thing, but you're trying to make events that will cause like fundraisers, for example, or even like you said, in competitions that can help not only give social acceptance to everyone, but build a community with the university students on campus.
Yes, I really want to tackle I want to know why our students are not happy. Like, why? Like, what's going on? Is it because our campus is dead all of the time? And if that's the problem, we need to do something about it. And by implementing Project Revive, that would help it, because it would get all the clubs connected together, and then they would be doing events, and while they're competing, they would do these great events, and students would be like, oh, okay, I like this event. And I don't know if that answered your question. I don't think I'm answering your question.
No, I get what you mean, yeah. So you're basically combining a community of students and make La Sierra more enjoyable in general.
Yes.
Which that's great, that's a great thing to have. So if, let's say, if a student, let's say, comes up to you and says, oh, I don't feel as socially accepted, like how would you create that for that, like give advice to that student, like if they walked up to you and or complain like, oh, this school, this, they complain like, oh, this doesn't have a certain event, you know, on weekends or whatnot, like how would you address that to the student?
And then they feel like they're alone, they don't have anyone to connect with.
Yeah, like a new freshman who just came in and he's very, let's say, introverted, he's trying to find, yeah.
So can I give you an example of something we did, because that I did last year?
Okay.
Yeah, so last year, I took a group of people, and then we went into the cafeteria, and when we saw someone sitting by themselves, we sat with them, and we basically started a small group of people that went around campus and included people. So I would do something along those lines. And if they feel like we don't have certain events on the weekend, I will talk to the other executive vices, and ask them to build those events on campus. And
so that's really nice that you did that with the student body, like went up to students. 'Cause I know I've seen students who, like, I have a friend who kind of like, I'm like his only friend, and you know, I always see him walk by himself. I feel kind of bad for, you know, these students who are it's hard for them to fit in social groups.
And the thing about that is that I come from a place where I felt isolated for a while, and then I realized the only way to defeat isolation is by getting another person, then you wouldn't be alone anymore. So then if you take the step to do that, then you will complete someone else, and they, you know, kind of like coming together. We're alone together now, and then slowly you create your group of misfits, and I don't know, so that was my plan in doing the project that I did last year, which was fun, and then I created a lot of friends from doing that, and they went on to do the same thing, which is kind of cool in my opinion.
Well, that's really nice. So how would you, like, in terms of the community, so you felt, is that how you mainly got involved? Was this like a part of a class, or was it your own organization that you created? Like,
so I went to Chaplain Linda when she used to work here, and I was just like,
oh, I remember her.
Yeah,
she was really nice.
I love Chaplain Linda. So I went up to her and I was just like, you know, Chaplain Linda, I have this great idea, and she was like, oh, okay, let's include it part of comms. So I became part of the team of Center of Outreach and Mission, because they had outreach. And I'm like, how about we do in-reach? Basically, yes, we're reaching out to the community. How about we do something that reaches into the community, you know, affecting the students that go here that are not, you know, that are either going through some tough things away from their family and they feel alone. How about we do something that reaches out to them? So that's how it got started.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And when did you start this? Last year, you said?
Last year.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you noticed a change within students? Like, have you noticed more students who are more introverted before that you helped are now found their groups and are more social than they were when they were like kind of by themselves?
I think so. One of the examples of that is one of the candidates running for social VP. I don't know if I can mention this on the podcast.
Oh, go ahead. You can.
Miss you. And I remember how I met him. I was in line at first service, and I turned around. I'm like, hello, how are you doing? And then he was like, hello, stranger. And the next thing he knew, he was part of this group, and he was talking to people, something that he wouldn't, I don't think he said, okay, I mean, all of them have said, like, it's not something that they would have done before. But since we were all doing it together and making people feel uncomfortable at first, but then it broke their wall, and then they came in and we all started talking about random things and stuff like that. So that's the way it impacted them.
So even if you become Salsu President, you're still going to implement this idea that you had, where you're gonna have more, let's say, more members, like members of Salsu, come to the students as well in groups to help them.
Yeah, I think when people think of, you know, the title of president, they think of like fancy suits and fancy outfits.
Yeah,
and
that's usually
like
the stereotype.
Yeah, to me it's simple, because you're the president of Salsu stands for student. association at La Sierra University. It's like for the student, and the general student, the general population is just like, we're relaxed, we're simple, and that's the way I want to approach things. Like not pretending that I'm higher than them when I'm not.
You're trying to get more on their the level of the students, and that's great. I really love that.
That's my goal. Yeah,
that's really great. Yeah, I'm sure. And I hope to see, if you do become president, I hope you help make La Sierra community better for the students and everyone in general. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast.